everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ducks Quack here at Microsoft Ignite. Boy, it's been an awesome conference. A lot of good stuff to learn. And obviously, social is still top of mind of everybody. And who better to talk about social than no other than Mr. Social? So Chris, why don't you introduce yourself and why you're known as Mr. Social?
So I'm known as Mr. Social because it's on my gal entry at Microsoft, because a lot of people started introducing me that way, because I've actually been working in enterprise social within Microsoft. So kind of the implementation for employees for actually like 6 or 7 years. So I've been at this for a long time. So I was using, we had this Office Talk thing that actually made the news, right?
That's right.
So I was running that internally, and then it was SharePoint 2013, and then
Yammer.
Yeah, June 26, 2012. I remember the day.
So the acquisition at that time, you guys are looking at implementing it. So you work for Microsoft IT internal,
That's right,
right?
Correct, yes. Yeah, so I work for IT internally, so I'm really Microsoft, the customer of Microsoft.
That's right.
And so I own the Yammer network for all employees across the world.
So broadly, how big is that population of employees?
So it's 100,000 employees, but there's also 100,000 contractors.
Wow, so 200,000 effectively.
Yeah, it's about 150,000 that have an account in Yammer right now.
So before we jump into that, Ignite.
Yes.
Thoughts, hits, misses, highlights for you?
You know, I've been working the booth most of the time. I've been actually standing over there with the product group talking to customers most of the time, so that's been a lot of fun. All kinds of different conversations from, I don't know what Yammer is, to, we're having this issue with adoption, or it's going great, but what's your success stories, all kinds of conversations. Hits, I think people are really interested in groups, in Office groups, and all the things that are happening there, and starting to see all of the ways that Delve is bringing everything together, and it's kind of blowing people's minds a little bit, I think. They're starting to realize why we're making the big bets on the cloud, because only there can we actually pull all the data together that we need to create those kinds of personalized experiences.
So I'm sure you get these questions both here and also with your internal Microsoft customer.
Yeah.
When do I use what?
Oh my gosh.
I got email, I got SharePoint, I got Yammer, I got text, I got Link, I got Skype for Business, WhatsApp, everything. Even people talk to me about business on Facebook.
Yes.
Or LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
So how can I make sense of that? So what do you explain, or how do you explain that?
So the way I explain it, I've actually come up with a couple of different frameworks for this, and I actually did a blog post about it out on medium.com that talks about which tool to use when, because that is a question that I've been asked literally multiple times a day for the last 3 years.
Right.
Especially since we actually acquired Yammer the same week that we were launching SharePoint 2013 social features.
The internal,
the original. Our internal launch, it was the same week, and so everybody was asking me that question all the time. So I've been thinking about it a long time. The framework that I really liked to begin with was that I had the size of the audience on one axis.
Right.
And the level of urgency on another axis. And that really resonated with people, because people understand IM is a very small audience, high urgency.
That's right.
Right, whereas a blog is, the audience is the whole world.
Public, sort of,
But urgency is whenever you get to it.
That's right.
Right? So, and then email and Yammer are kind of in between. And so that helped people think through that a little bit. But the more I've been thinking about it lately, because more and more of these tools are becoming more open, you can actually use any of those tools in either an open or a closed way. And so what I like to talk to people about now is, instead of asking that question, which tool should I use in what situation, ask the question, how should I use the tools that work for me and what my team needs to do?
Got it. So there's not one fixed tool all the time.
Am I using the tools that our team needs in the best way possible?
Get their job done, yeah?
Yeah, because if I'm using it in a closed way, then the rest of my company isn't taking advantage of all the IP that we're building up there.
That's right. All the tacit knowledge.
So work in open public groups in Yammer. Think twice about the level of investment you put into permissioning things.
That's right.
For employees.
Yep.
And work through cultural issues, and that's what my session here at Ignite is about what are the cultural blockers that we have that keep us from adopting these things.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And similarly, I've talked to a lot of customers about those key concepts. But at the end of the day, I work in public sector. I work in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Sonny, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. I got my email, I got my Excel, that's all I need, right?
Yeah.
So the whole concept about, sharing, collaborating, it's great, but let's be real here. They got people who couldn't care less. I clock in, clock out, 8 to 5, get my job done, get my paycheck.
I think
email works.
Yeah. The problem is it works for you.
Exactly.
So I think one of the fundamental challenges that we have as an industry, well, it's not even just an industry specific, as a species,
as human beings,
is thinking about somebody other than myself, right? Thinking about when I'm working for the company.
Mm-hmm.
I am working for myself, but I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to get better to the degree to which I can leverage other people's
That's right.
materials and their work, and so they need to be able to leverage mine too.
Exactly.
And so we need to get people thinking about thinking beyond themselves and beyond their own team.
And there's a lot of fantastic use cases. I mean, you know, Nationwide has a great use case. And for those not familiar, just look up Nationwide Insurance on how they use social, Red Robin, on how they save money because of Yammer.
Yes.
Right? And I'm sure there's a lot of stories. And I think being able to share those use cases relevant to that industry.
So that's actually core to my strategy for Microsoft, for growing Microsoft adoption going forward, is we're about to launch a new site that we're calling Get Social internally. And what it's going to do is have, you know, best practices and some self-service training kinds of things. And then we're to get consulting from our team. And then the biggest section of the site is going to be a collection of stories. So it's all success stories from across the company of how people have used it to drive business value.
It's very testimonial-like,
yes,
right?
Yeah. There's somebody's picture at the top of it. It's like, this is what our team did, this is the problem that we had, this is what we did, and this was the business benefit.
Sure.
All of them follow that template, and so, you know, you can find a team that kind of looks and smells like you, and then find the stories that have been successful there.
And that's a great point, and that's certainly something you could do back in your organization. If you're dealing with, how do I make people use it, instead of just shoving, use Yammer, don't use email, talk about their needs. You know, there's a project management scenario, HR scenario.
I think if there's one mistake that I made early on was focusing on that kind of general, broad usage value proposition, right?
That's right.
You know, we need to work more openly, and we need to, you know, use Yammer because it's fun and cool, or because it's, you know, all the basic value propositions of Yammer without going to those stories.
But if I'm in accounting processing invoices every month, working openly, why do I want to do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, very cool. Now, before I let you go, Chris, since this is a big Microsoft show, we're covering all the different products.
Yeah.
If you were a Microsoft product, what would you be?
Oh, no.
Any product that
it's too easy for me to say Yammer, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's a given, right? But other than that.
Wow, that's a good one. What would I be? Sway.
Sway. You know, I got 3 people already saying they want to be Sway. So why do you want to be Sway? Can you dance?
No. maybe 10, 20 years ago. Sway. Why do I want it? Because it's so simple and compelling. And straightforward and visual.
Yes.
And you know, I know what I'm getting with Sway. It's not pretending to be anything other than, you know, putting some compelling content together to get across an idea and engage you. Yeah.
Very good. Fantastic.
That's why I like it.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
All right. Thank you.
Always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Make sure you check out Chris's blog. Follow him on Twitter. Slemp, right?
And if you're still at Ignite,
if you're still
come to my session Friday morning.
There you go. And overall great guy. Anything you want to know about social, Mr. Social, Chris Slemp.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Till the next episode of Ducks Quacks. Bye.